Hello once again everyone, Original Blood Ace here doing a new video. Now this one, I was thinking, what kind of a video could I do? What could I talk about? I thought it'd be time to do another discussion. So after a bit of thinking, I came up with the idea of this video. My thoughts on what I personally would like to see happen with the 8th generation. Whether it's Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. So I'm going to break down all three and go through my thoughts. Now, this is probably going to be a long discussion, probably like 20 minutes or so. So, let's just get started. But warning, up ahead or heads up here. Remember, these are my thoughts, and I'm not going to lie, some of them are selfish. And if you don't like that, well, tough luck. Get the fuck out and fuck off. But let's get into this. We'll start off with Microsoft and the Xbox One with the 8th gen. Not gonna lie, even though I have a 360 and I like it as a system, I'm not a fan of Microsoft as a company except for when it comes to PCs. So, gaming-wise and the console-wise, I want them to fail. I want the Xbox One to fail, and then Microsoft can realize that they are past their prime with the gaming industry, that the 360 was the best they would ever get. The Xbox One sales will be low, and the if you look at the Xbox 360 sales, half of them are an illusion. How many people actually bought more than one Xbox 360 due to the red ring of death, or faulty parts, or overheating, or whatever? So they're going to realize that the Xbox 360 was as best as it was going to get, and it's still not even as good as they think it was. Now, I remember I saw a chart somewhere before that showed all three companies' overall profits from the last generation, from Xbox, well, up to like this year, so Wii's, 360s, and PS3. Microsoft was surprisingly the only one who was in the negative overall, so I didn't even realize that, but whatever. So, I think Microsoft is going to leave the gaming industry. I want them to leave the gaming industry because, frankly, they never had any right being in it in the first place. They only saw it as a cash cow, just to be greedy and get more money. Now Microsoft is going to find out the hard way that without Bungie, since this is their first system without Bungie with them, they have nothing worthwhile on the Xbox brand. It's just that simple. Now yes, Bungie's game Destiny will be on their systems, but it's not locked to Xbox. It's not a frickin' Microsoft exclusive. There's no demand for getting a Bungie game strictly for that system now, so that's gone. So I think Microsoft will end up going to making all their games on PC. That means moving Halo and other exclusives like Gears of War, or War, the correct term, or Forza and such to PC, which, let's be honest, Forza would belong on PC anyway. Halo, I could already see that being on PC and everything. Microsoft's money comes from PC anyway, that's where they're rich from, so it just makes perfect sense just to combine their games with PC. There you go. So it would be best for Microsoft to just stay with the PC. Though with 343 Industries, Halo itself, I don't think it'll last long, so whatever, if it comes to PC or whatever. Well, then again with Forge on Halo would be a heck of a lot better with the customization on a PC. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Lastly, if they were to go full PC with the gaming, then they need to make a new exclusive IP just for Windows PCs that is something new and exciting, not another space first-person shooter game. No offense, Halo is great and everything, but there's too many games like that with Mass Effect and Halo, Lost Planet, stuff like that. We need something new from Microsoft for them to really get people their attention so they can be like, oh, that's actually something neat, new, and innovative. We should go play that. It's only on their system, so I'm going to have to do that. Or, I suppose PC. But, whatever. Also, they need to realize that Kinect was a failure, and it never, ever again needs to be made. So, I don't even know why they want to continue that, but whatever. Then they also need to, well, this is kind of a little random tidbit, but they need to realize that having AA batteries in a controller in 2013 is unacceptable, because AA batteries are old school. Also, the final little point here for Microsoft, for my thoughts, is that they need to sell 4 key Rareware IPs back to Nintendo. They are Perfect Dark, or was it GoldenEye? I forget if one or the other, or both even, I guess, is owned by Rareware. But Conker's Bad Fur Day, or just Conker. Killer Instinct, which, if it was or not a big deal, but I know a lot of people would love it. And the last thing, of course, Banjo-Kazooie. The only reason Microsoft is still keeping Banjo-Kazooie, the IP, is just so Nintendo doesn't use it. It's just that simple. So that's my thoughts for Microsoft and the 8th gen. I want them to, here's a quick recap, I just want them to fail with the Xbox One, just to leave and go to PC with their games, and I think it would just benefit both the gamers and Microsoft. Because then everyone pretty much has a PC. Not everyone has a high-end PC or anything, but pretty much everyone has a PC in their house. This would save Microsoft the money, even though they don't need to save money. This would save them money in making a hardware system or an actual console. It would save the fans for having to buy a system for their games. They could just buy it for PC and play it on their computer anyway. Though some people, it might not be as good as graphics or good as settings or whatever, but that's irrelevant. Either way, they'd be getting money from people buying PCs anyway. So let's go on to Sony, and it's harder to discuss Sony for me since we don't actually know how their future will play out due to their financial situation. And now you all know I hate Sony with a burning passion, so I'm gonna say right now I'm gonna leave my bias out of this video. I'm not gonna try and bash Sony. I'll try my best not to, but anyway. First of all, I want the PS4 to either fail sales-wise or be a success to the point where it can save Sony. I know, crazy, I know, me saying something like that. But the question is, can it? Even if it was a huge, monumental success, would that be enough to sustain an entire company? Now, I'm only going to talk about the PlayStation division. I don't want to talk about their other divisions. Oops, hit my mic there. But the whole point is, if it is a huge success, can it sustain the company? Because with the PS2 being a huge success and PS1, they were making money all across the board with their other divisions. So I want it to either fail, causing Sony to fail and leave the gaming industry and fade off the planet, or I want it to be a success to the point where it saves Sony. I don't want mediocre sales for the PS4 because that doesn't do any damn thing for Sony. All it does is drag them out longer, and, you know, it's like kicking a dead horse when it's down, or what's they saying, putting a horse out of its misery. It's just delaying that, or prolonging that, what's the word? Prolonging that imminent thing that you have to do anyway. Either survive, Sony, or die. Don't just drag yourself and lose more ego and lose more pride and dignity. Just don't do that. Of course, that's not up to Sony, that's up to the fans if they buy it enough and everything, but there are other products too. Anyway, I want them to bring back lost exclusives, namely Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. Now, Crash Bandicoot apparently has gone multi-platform. There was some new one being in the works or something. I saw something about that a while ago. Spyro has basically turned into frickin' Skylanders, but whatever. And then they also need to revive Twisted Metal to its former glory. I know there was a new Twisted Metal on the PS3, but let's be honest, it sucks compared to the first and the second one. The ones that were on PS1 and PS2 were so much funner, so much better, and that was what Twisted Metal was all about. And then Sony needs to realize, or they need to fix their total direction as a company. And what I mean is the direction they're going with hardware. The PS3, the Vita, and the PS4 are all about power and graphics, meaning the specs. Now, I know the Sony fanbase somehow, I don't know how, I don't know where or why, but somehow they've all been warped thinking it's only specs that matter when it comes to gaming. And that's just crippled the Sony community. Not all of them, but a vast majority of them. So Sony needs to realize that the PS1 and especially the PS2, which was a huge success, was because they were simply roughly the same power as the N64 and the GameCube, those other systems that is, and it was their unique things like being able to play DVDs or CDs and good exclusives that made them stand out. Now, some people could say, oh, well, PS4, it can play DVDs, CDs, and has good exclusives, or, well, more like PS3. The point was, the focus, there was no huge, I mean, I guess Blu-ray was kind of the focus, but with the PS4, for example, or actually, let's skip that, let's skip to a PS5 if it were to happen. They need to go back to being on par with everything else and having something unique, focusing on their games, focusing on something different that's, I don't know what the word is, not new doesn't do justice what I'm trying to say here. Like, you know how PS1 played CDs, PS2 played DVDs, PS3 played Blu-ray. I mean, even though those things don't pertain to gaming, it is a next step, a next thing that makes them stand out. So there needs to be something like that. Now there's some features and stuff, but I don't mean features, I mean things that are like built into the system to do certain things. Now I don't mean like the PlayStation Eye toy or whatever it was called or any of that crap. I don't know exactly what they could do, but the point is they need to change their direction and realize that power and graphics are not what's doing them good. Look at history. PS1, PS2 did phenomenal. PS3 failed 5 years in a row, no profit. Vita, complete fuck up. Now the PS4, will it be Strike 3? I don't even know. This is sounding into a rant of me bashing, and I don't mean to. What I'm saying is I don't believe it's the right way. I just don't. Otherwise they'd be making money and they wouldn't be in their financial situation. Anyway, let's move on to the next little point here. Oh, I lost my spot here. Oh yeah, next up, they need to just leave the handheld gaming market, I'm not going to lie. The PSP was a pretty good system, I'm not going to lie. It did pretty good, in fact it probably did very well, but the Vita was just a dead weight hurting Sony, literally dragging them further down. Leave it to Nintendo, the gaming or the handheld gaming industry, because they're already the king there, they own it. You can't even argue that. Now lastly, stop copying everyone. They need to get their innovations back and be able to come up with their own unique ideas. And stop copying Nintendo, mostly. Now if Sony does fail, and they go bankrupt, then they leave, and well, Nintendo will be the last one standing, I guess, console-wise, since, like I said before, I want the Xbox One to fail and Microsoft to go PC. Now, if that happens, they should sell Crash Bandicoot to a third party, sell Spyro to Nintendo, because he just kind of looks like he belonged to being a Nintendo-type character, sell Twisted Metal to Microsoft. You might be thinking, what? You don't really like Microsoft. Why would you want a game that you like being sold to Microsoft? Strictly because, think of this, hear me out. Imagine Twisted Metal on PC. Imagine being able to have the customization of doing mods and stuff with Twisted Metal on PC. Think about that just for a second while I take a sip of water here. Now, let that sink in. So that's my point with Twisted Metal there. Imagine the customization. You'd be able to create your own, like, deathmatch tracks or levels or whatever. You'd be able to create your own weapon mods, upgrades, vehicles, all that stuff. It would just be amazing. And then as for God of War, I'm not gonna lie, just let it die. It was decent when it first started. It was pretty unique and a neat little game, but God of War now is just pew off a cliff, Roadrunner style, or Wile E. Coyote style, where he hangs there for a while, but then as soon as he looks down, he falls down and hits the ground. God of War, let it die. So that's my thoughts on Sony. So quick recap there. I want them to either fail or I want them either to succeed. No mediocre sales for the PS4, because that does them no good. And sell some games, blah 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 blah. So now on to Nintendo. Got a lot to discuss here. And let me tell you once again, I'm putting my bias aside in this video, because as most people call me, I'm a huge Nintendo fan, or people even call me a frickin' fanboy, even though I am not, and I like their games. I still think their games are the best in the gaming industry, but business-wise and as a company, they're far from perfect. So, I'm just going to say right now, even though some of you will probably still call me a Nintendo fanboy, I'm putting my bias as best as I can to the side. For this video, anyway. So, first of all, the 3DS, I don't even need to say anything on it, because it's an amazing system. It's doing, phenomenal on its own. The only thing missing from it is a Metroid game, which, if we get at some point, great. If we don't, meh. Metroid Prime Hunters 2 is what I would like to see on it, but whatever. The main topic here is with the Wii U. So I do like the Wii U, don't get me wrong, it's a great system, but there's still a bunch of things the Wii U needs to get to the point that it needs to be at, in my opinion and quite a lot of other people's opinions. First up is quite simple, party chat. Now Iwata did say at some point the Wii U would have party chat, and I believe I said it in my former video about the Wii U big update, that they might be taking the first step in that direction, but still, it needs to come, I don't know when, hopefully by the time Mario Kart 8 and Smash Bros. Come out. Seriously, by then, at the absolute latest. And most definitely when Monolith Soft's X game comes out, even though they'll probably be in-game chat with that, which is good enough. but a party chat would just be, and I mean cross-game chat too, not just in the same game. And don't combine it with Miiverse. Keep it a separate app that runs in the background the whole time, so it can keep going. The Wii U can handle it. But anyway, and then there's other features, like joining friends in games. That needs to be done. Even the 3DS has that with like Mario Kart 7 or something. Upgraded messaging system. Now, what I mean on this is, let us actually be able to send a message to our friends without the Miiverse. Or at least, in my case, tweak the Miiverse so that if you're banned, you can still private message friends, because that's just ludicrous. That's bullshit. But I'm not getting into a rant about that. But more than likely is, we need a way to be able to message friends while we're in the middle of a game without having to go to Miiverse. Whether, I don't know if it would be an icon on the home menu, like so when if you're in a game you hit the home button and then you could just have a messaging thing, kind of like, even if it was Swap Note, I'd be fine with that, where you just, you know, you can write a text message or draw your message and whatever, and it'll send it to your friend's Wii U that has Swap Note too, something like that. It would be so much more convenient. Miiverse needs some changes, like the admins. Everyone knows my thoughts on the admins. They need to get the fuck out, removed, and then they need to update it to a moderator system and to make it perfect. And then finally, a notification system. You might not know what I mean. You might know what I mean. Specifically, when you get a message from a friend on the Miiverse now, or you know, anything like that, it's just one little, or a friend comes online, it'll just be a little bloop, blink of the blue light on the home button, and you really pay no attention to it, really. We need different ways of knowing what the heck is going on. Say, for example, if a friend signs on, then maybe have it, I don't know if this is even possible, since it's probably a blue LED light inside there, but maybe have it change, if it's a friend coming on, since it's an orange icon, have it flash an orange color for once. Now, if different colors aren't possible, then just have it, I don't know, vibrate the controller whenever a friend signs on or something. Or even like a little sound they could play, saying like, I don't know, or even just a little jingle, like a little diddling with noise effect or whatever when your friend signs on. Then when you get a video call, it's kind of easier to tell because the blinking light just blinks, 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 blinks continuously until you either answer it or you don't answer it. But the point is, we need notifications for in-game messages, for, you know, game invites and so forth and so on. We just need it. It's 2013, Nintendo. Now, I hope you're getting this done in the works and it's coming at some point, because it's really unacceptable that it's not there. And I get it, you want to beat to your own drum like always, that's fine, but there are certain key aspects that you just need to have. It's just that simple. Now, I need to take a break there, or a breath there. Let's talk games. First of all, no more goddamn Mario after Mario Kart 8. Seriously, unless it's Mario Party 10 on the Wii U, or the true successor to Mario Galaxy 2, no more Mario on the Wii U for like 3-4 years, please. Seriously. Now, I know there's like the stupid Sochi Olympics games, but the casuals, fine. But you can't try and pass off more hardcore Mario games like frickin' 3D World. And well, I guess Smash Bros. Is kind of a Mario game, but of course that's perfectly fine. But please, just lay off the Mario. I like Mario, but I'm not a fucking fanboy of Mario. He's like my 9th favorite Nintendo franchise. He's getting milked to death. And again, you're focusing on kids, so this is why. And we know Mario sells just like you know it. But seriously, stop milking Mario. And you can't use the excuse, but each game is different. That doesn't change the fact that spitting out Mario after Mario after Mario after Mario isn't getting annoying, because it is. If you say, you know, in the time that it spent, or that you could spit out 3 Mario games, you could have been most of the way done through an actual game people want, like Custom Robo 2, like Star Fox on Wii U, like F-Zero HD, well, that's Namco Bandai, I was going to say a Tales of Symphonia. Point is, you could be doing other games people want, instead of just Mario, 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 Mario. You think for some reason, Nintendo, that every Nintendo fan just goes gaga and loses their goddamn mind over a Mario game. They don't. People have different tastes. Don't get me wrong. I like Mario. I'm a fan of it. I respect Mario. He's the icon of gaming. You can't even argue that. Whoops, I smacked my gamepad. But everyone needs a break. Mario needs a break. Anyway, next up is kick Retro Studios in the ass and get them making Metroid ASAP. Now, I know I've said in the past, even if they make Metroid, I'm not going to get it because blah blah blah, I wasn't happy about Donkey Kong. Now, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite here, but whatever. I was just acting out in the moment, angry. I'm still pissed off that they did that fucking Donkey Kong game. And I still have to be really impressed, even though it's retro with Metroid, so kind of hard not to be. I would get it, but still, get them working on an actual game that gets them their reputation back. Some people say Donkey Kong is the best platformer. I say maybe, but I don't know. That's really all preference. So, get Metroid in the works, which I think it automatically is going to be anyway, once after the stupid delay of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which I don't think I did a video on. Maybe I did. Oh yeah, when I did the roundup talk about the Direct. Anyway, I think the game Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is going to go gold probably around December, January, so by then they'll work on Metroid and get it in the works, but that's still going to be like 2 years away. Oh, man, this video is going on and on and on, and we still have so much to go into. Next up is we need more games with online, Nintendo. Why is it that AAA games get only local, while games like Mario and Sonic at the Sochi Olympics get online? Why is it casual games are getting online? Now, don't get me wrong, some of them I'm excited for. Frickin' Wii Sports Club. That should have been on the Wii like that, but it's exciting and it's fine. But why are you treating the casual gamers to online when the hardcore, I hate to use these terms, I'll just say the loyal Nintendo fans who've been with you for so damn long, they get the short end of the stick over and over and over again? Mario Bros. U, Mario 3D World, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, all should have online, yet they don't. Hell, even Rayman Legends. Well, that's more of a Ubisoft decision. Anyway, and as I've said time and time again, we need an F-Zero and Star Fox on the Wii U. We just do. That's another thing I'd love to see during the 8th gen here. Kirby would also be a welcome game to the Wii U, but we are getting a new 3DS one, so that's exciting, although it took over 2.5 years for one to surface on the 3DS, so it might take another 2 years to show up on the Wii U. But whatever. Oh, actually, I just realized a thought here that I forgot to write down on my notes here. I know it's hard to say this bluntly to your face, but stop delaying so many games. Seriously, it's annoying. Had to take a drink of water there again. Now, I know it's not 100% your fault, but perhaps before you give a release date, you think clearly, is this a release date that we can legitimately, 100% guarantee that it'll come out around that time? If you delay a game, a month at most, then that's okay. But any longer than a month, and you really shouldn't have gotten our hopes up saying that in the first place, that it would be released. You should, if you don't know exactly release date, like a dead, finalized, locked-on release date, you should really just say, well, we're aiming for this month, but we can't give you a specific date just yet. It's that simple. Now let's discuss the sales of the Wii U for the 8th gen. This is going to come to a bit of a shock, but just let me explain. I don't want, now let me repeat that, I do not want the Wii U to obliterate the Xbox One and PS4 sales. I just don't. I want it to beat them, but I don't want it to obliterate them. I want, like I said before, I want Xbox One to fail, it'll come in dead last, and I want PS4 to come in either last like Xbox, so therefore there's really 2 fails and 1 success, which is the Wii U, but not a huge one, or Xbox One in last, Wii U in second, and PS4 in third. And I know I hate Sony, you know all that, but I'll get into that in a second. Well, actually, I already talked about the PS4. I want it to either fail or succeed. But anyway, so let me explain, since before I believe I said it would, or that I wanted the Wii U to obliterate them. I want the Wii U to be the GameCube of the 8th generation. A great machine with great games, but not huge sales like the Wii. Then it will force Nintendo to change their ways and realize the truth. They have gone to slack with the success of the Wii. Now, I had a Wii, I had two actually, and I like the system. It was a great system. Don't get me wrong. Lots of good games. I like the motion controls, blah 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 blah. But the thing with the Wii was, it had a huge success rate because the casuals, the kids, trying to get the new generation board, which is fine, but that should not be their main focus. Now they're trying with the Wii U, especially with that name, to keep their main focus on those freaking casuals. That's an issue. That's where the slack comes in. That's why the Wii U is not as good as it should be. Now, that's only when it comes to home consoles I want, or that I'm talking about here. They're doing everything perfect when it comes to the handheld industry with the 3DS. So, I want Nintendo to get their shit together and to realize for their next home console, the 9th gen, and there will be one, go back to what made you huge. Think back to the NES, the SNES, the N64, and even the GameCube itself. We aren't talking game-wise, except for Mario, because it's been, in my opinion, and a lot of people's going downhill lately, being milked and driven into the ground and slammed down our throats over and over and over again. But, I mean business-wise, advertisement-wise, so forth. Nintendo needs to shift back to the way they were before. Think back to when Reggie debuted at E3 saying, "I'm Reggie, I'm about kicking ass and taking names." Nintendo lost their edge, their aggression. To be perfectly blunt, the hardcore Nintendo is gone. They were more edgy. They were more in your face. Remember their Nintendo 64 motto, get in or get out? Or get in and get out? Great motto. They had aggression. They had passion. They still have passion, but they had drive that made them their hardcore Nintendo fan base, that they made their Nintendo name known around the planet. But now that it's not gone forever, it's just basically in a coma, in my opinion, and it needs to come back. Iwata needs to let the passionate Nintendo fans who have been with them since the NES or the Super Nintendo or the N64 thrive, not suffocate us and focus more on the casuals, because that's what they seem to be doing. More shovelware, more casuals, and trying to just slightly, give us once in a while a good game that's meant for us, the more loyal, the more dedicated Nintendo fans who are waiting for those certain specific big blockbuster games. But Nintendo wants to target kids, which is fine. There's no problem with that. That's how they get a lot of money. There is a lot of money in going after the casuals, the kids, and the new upcoming generation. That's perfectly acceptable. But they can't let that be the main sole focus of the entire company. Just look recently with the freaking 2DS. That specifically was created to give to the kids who are too young for the 3DS, or for the cheaper parents who don't want to spend an extra $30 or whatever. But it's for kids to protect their eyes, which is a good idea and everything. But it just goes to show that once again they're focusing on the kids, which is not a problem in the idea, but way too much of their focus and attention is on going after casuals, and that's just not good for business. Now, the old, more edgy Nintendo always had their fans as a priority, a top priority. And they had a great connection with their fans. And I just realized my controller image got dark on me there. What was I talking about? The old, edgier Nintendo, that's right. They always had their fans as top priority and had a great connection with their fans. Think back to like 1990s. You had customer service when you phoned and you had a problem. You could even ask them, "I'm stuck on this part of the game. Can you help me out?" And they would help you out because they themselves were playing the games themselves. Now, their customer service is still pretty damn good, except for that one fucking lady I talked to before about that permaban, and I'm not even going to go into that. But it's just, they need to fix this. They need to establish that connection with their hardcore loyal fans again. It's not gone, but it's worn away, is a good way of describing it. So basically, if they put more focus on that, it'll heal the connection that we had with Nintendo, the bond, whatever you want to call it, and it'll improve overall everything. Next up is also in the 9th gen with their next system. Stop! This is a little bit of a crazy thing to say, but stop doing digital games. I know they just got into it. But we need to move away from that whole, all the people's rumors and thoughts about, oh, eventually all gaming is going to be digital. No, 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 no. We do not want that. Or at the very least, no digital games early before their physical copy. A week at most early. But like 3 weeks early for frickin' Wind Waker HD or whatever it was. That just drives me crazy. Now I know people are going to say, oh, but you can buy it yourself. Everyone can. It's, every man for himself. It's free for, well, not free, but, free play, free game for everyone. It's not like you're being forced to get physical. I know, but just combining that with the Miiverse, the community shouldn't be up on Miiverse until the physical copy's out, because then you're going to have people in the minority who are probably more newer people who got the Wind Waker bundle, who never played the damn game before in the beginning, asking us for help and advice when we don't want to give it because you're teasing us by playing the game we want that's the physical copy, which is what gaming should be, is buying physical games. Buying a digital game is fucking stupid. You are literally buying a code. Now, on PC, that's a different story, but with systems, when there is a physical copy, you should get it. For the simple fact that digitally has far more issues. You can't refund a digital game. At least not to my knowledge. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic there. So next up is Nintendo also needs to let the older Nintendo fans be themselves. They need to split up their online communities so people who are 18 or older can talk privately with each other without being restricted. Now what I mean is, if we want to swear or whatever, let us. Just split up the kids and the adults. Not that hard to do. Especially since when you create your damn account, you have to put in your birthday anyway. Now, I know kids can lie, but that shouldn't punish us who are 18 or older. The point is, and I know private communities are coming, so that'll probably help. So, for example, when we can create our own Miiverse communities, let us have filters on it where, well, I guess we have to give it out to specific people ourselves, the password, code, or whatever, the ID number. The point is, if we say we allow only people who are 18 or older, and if anyone swears in our posts, let them. Don't moderate or don't admin our frickin' posts, our communities. We need freedom. We need... Now this word, as soon as I say this word, people are going to be like, oh, he lost me, blah, 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 I don't support this. But I'm going to say it. We need anarchy. Not complete, but partial, where we can do what we want without it affecting others. I think that's going to about do it. This video's been pretty damn long. So there we have my thoughts on what I want from the 8th gen in gaming with the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Wii U. So Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. I guess that's going to do it for this long-ass video. Over a half an hour. What a discussion. Holy crap. So this, as always, is Original Blood Ace. Stay tuned. More videos coming soon. Count on it.